world of football is, I wouldn't say it's normal, because all of a sudden...
It's never been normal, is it? It's absolutely bonkers.
I am joining you live from my bar.
Oh, wow. That potentially could be worth it for 30 goals a season.
Hello, my name is Roshan and thank you for joining us on In 2020. Be it pitch side, be it at the stadium, live and in color, Mr. Danny Mills, including your bath. And today you're at Stoke at a cafe because it's Danny on the go. It's a new edition. Why are you in Stoke?
I'm in Stoke at the moment. I'm doing some stuff for my kids, just picking some stuff up. And then I'm on the way back to Sheffield tonight, Bramall Lane, to do obviously championship game, do the commentary for Sheffield United versus QPR. Big game in the championship to see who gets to the Premier League.
Yeah, QPR will always have a soft spot in my heart and here in Malaysia because,
of course,
with Tan Sri Tony Fernandes.
That's why I'm doing it, Roshan. That's the only reason I'm doing it.
You need a PR status here in Malaysia, my friend, as I do over there. I'm just kidding. But let's talk about football over there. It's been a few months, almost a year now, since that whole debacle. Cheers. Enjoy your coffee. Sugar or no sugar?
2 sugars.
2 sugars. It wasn't exactly...
Normally honey. I mean, honey in my coffee. I'm not calling you honey. Let's just clear that up.
Let's quickly move on, Danny. This got very, very strange very fast. But it was sweet, as I was saying, that whole topic about, let's stand against the Super League because of the negative effects. Would you say that Manchester United and Arsenal are 2 very good examples of a negative effect when it comes to the Super League? You look at the owners and what they have done and how they've turned 2 footballing entities into mediocre outfits.
I don't think that's anything to do with the Super League. I think they're just bad running of the football clubs.
But it's the same philosophy, correct?
Manchester United is a commercial model, let's be honest. The Glazers got into Manchester United to make money. That's the only reason they did that. Arsenal, I think, is a little bit more half and half. There's a little bit of wanting the football to do well. Whereas you look at, I know it's very difficult to talk about Roman Abramovich and obviously everything that's gone on with the sanctions and everything else. But apart from some of the other reasons he got into football, he wanted to be the best football team and he wanted to win things. Manchester City want to win things. That's the most important thing for them. Barcelona, Real Madrid want to win things. That comes first and comes often, before financial stability and financial sense a lot of the time. And we've seen the collapse of that. But Manchester United are still, because of the owners, because of the Glazers, they are a commercial entity. I think we saw Louis van Gaal talk about that, with the interview with obviously Ten Hag, saying be careful, be careful if you go there, because they are a commercial business, not a football club.
And that is what you... Yeah, that's what you get with the Super League. You look at the NBA, they're basically trying to recreate that, right, with football over here in Europe. These teams, these franchises.
Well, because then there's no jeopardy, is there? There's no relegation. There's no promotion. You are guaranteed X amount, X millions of dollars, pounds, ringgit, whatever it is. You are guaranteed that no matter what, every single year, and you can plan financially and be stable. But it takes away competition. You ask any kid in the street, it doesn't matter where you are in the world. All kids want competition. And if you go out the street this afternoon, Roshan, wherever you are in the world, and there's 3 kids with a ball and 5 lads come over that are maybe not quite as good as them, the 3 kids will say, yeah, we'll play 3 on 5. We won't play 3 on 4. We won't play 4 on 4, but we'll give you a 3-4 goal head start because they want fairness. That's the whole point of competition. So if you take that competition element away, what's the point? There's no excitement whatsoever.
That's well put, Danny. Let's talk about all that millions that they stand to make if they don't get relegated. They've spent some of it on BRUNO Fernandes, It's such a split decision. Okay, the fans are quite happy with him, but the pundits from your neck of the woods have gone like, maybe not so. Maybe the new manager should have come in, had an opportunity to see whether he wanted to build the team around BRUNO.
Definitely. I think, obviously, unless the new manager has that input already, we're assuming that Ralph Rangnick is going to step upstairs. And just because he's not been a brilliant coach doesn't mean that he hasn't necessarily got the ability to...
There he is.
I'm
Sorry,
still
Dan, we
here.
just lost you for a bit. Yeah, I thought it was
I
a coffee
thought
with two sugars.
I thought I lost you. No, so
You
I
will
was
never
just
lose
saying.
me. I love you. But
I
carry
know I
on.
love you too. Um, I was just saying that in the situation, we assume that Ralph Rangnick's going to go upstairs. You know, his coaching hasn't been fantastic, but that doesn't mean he can't put a club together and he can't pick the next manager. And his recruitment, you know, is necessarily poor. He's done it before. He hasn't been a coach at this level before. That's maybe why, you know, it hasn't quite worked out. So I think when you're looking at recruitment, if he sees Bruno Fernandes as part of the plan going forward, then great. But who is the next manager going to be? Is it going to be Pochettino? Is it going to be Ten Hag? Who is going to take, you know, that role? And then we talked about, you've got to have a clear out. Ronaldo has to go. Pogba has to go. Not because they're bad players. And I think here in England, Wayne Rooney was on Sky Sports last night and said, you know, has Ronaldo really benefited Manchester United? Not really. He scored some great goals. He scored a hat-trick. He scored some important goals. But he hasn't taken to the next level. You've got to look at younger, hungrier players coming through the system. And Manchester United, those players, Pogba, you know, Ronaldo in there, Lingard, who will expect to be on his way as well. You know, they have to go. You have to have a clean start over again and go from there. Okay,
but we keep talking about the players that should go, but I'm just trying to be very neutral here. We have spoken about Scott McTominay for almost a season and a half. Harry Maguire, God bless him. We've mentioned that he needs to take a break, which he seems never to get from his manager. He's still there. But there are bigger problems. So once you remove this Cristiano problem, allegedly a problem, you remove Paul Pogba, the focus will be on these players. And then will United finally say, oh my God, actually it wasn't these guys, it was actually this, because they're not good enough to perform at a certain level.
Well, there's been an issue, hasn't there, for 5 or 6 years, you know, at least. Mourinho wanted to rule with an iron fist, wasn't allowed to do so. You know, the club sided with the players over Mourinho, even though he was winning things. So that was a problem. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer came in and basically just did whatever the players wanted, or it felt like, you know, just to keep them happy. And they were ticking over, not really going anywhere, you know, within that framework. I think that you have to start again. You have to accept that for the next couple of years, Manchester United's going to struggle. Ralph Rangnick said as much in a press conference this week. 2 or 3 transfer windows, and you can turn this around very, very quickly. But that's 18 months. So you've got to have the ability to get players out, get players in, then get some more players in, and then get them settled and get them playing. And that's over a year. So it's probably another season at least with Manchester United without silverware.
And would you see Harry Maguire having another season if he keeps performing at how he's performing? Be honest.
Not at the levels he's performing at. But again, I think he is being targeted at the moment. You know, every poor performance, he's being singled out.
Yeah, but he is performing badly. And he's a centre-back. And when he makes a mistake...
They're all performing badly, Roshan. Every single player is performing badly. You know, Luke Shaw as an England left-back isn't performing great at the moment. Varane, Champions League winner, not performing spectacularly well in any way, shape or form. You know, Rashford has had his issues. Sancho, 75 million, seems to get no stick whatsoever. Bruno Fernandes has been poor at times, but no one really goes into him. There is a little bit of, when Roy Keane says something, it's gospel, and he goes in hard on Harry Maguire because he's captain. Harry Maguire, it's not Harry Maguire's fault that he was £80 million. Way, way over the odds. Harry Maguire is captain of Manchester United, a poor Manchester United. Okay, he's not playing particularly well, but you can't blame every single thing on Harry Maguire. The modern day captain is completely different to the Roy Keanes of this world. You know, but when Roy Keane speaks, because of his closeness to the club, because of the history and the authenticity that he speaks with, everybody listens. If Jamie Redknapp says something about Harry Maguire, people go, yeah, okay, fair enough. When Roy Keane says it, that's the truth. And everybody else jumps on the back of that and goes, well, yeah, it must be true because Roy Keane said it. And I think that has just escalated things a little bit. And every single mistake that Harry Maguire makes has been highlighted. People are picking on that. And I think sometimes he's being made out, he's not great at the moment, but he's being made out to be even worse than he is at the moment.
Okay, but we did speak about this back in early January or perhaps the tail end of December. We said, you know what, we shouldn't say this, but we said, fake an injury, like have a couple of weeks off, get your mindset right, come back into the game, and a seasoned manager like Ralph should have known this, right? He just kept him going week in, week out, and he's getting butchered. That's a poor manager, right?
I guess the problem is who else does he play in that position?
Anybody, Danny, come on.
Well, what are the options? But then if you lose that, you say, well, Harry Maguire's, why have you left your captain? It's a difficult one. I think sometimes you just have his performances been absolutely disastrous. We've seen, Tavares for Arsenal be taken off in a cup game against Nottingham Forest and get taken off last night at half time. That's what you call a really poor performance when you're getting dragged off at half time or before half time. I don't think Harry Maguire's been at that level yet. Okay, he's not been brilliant. But name me a Manchester United player that has been outstanding, that's been markedly better, than Harry Maguire. He's making the odd mistake, but who isn't at the moment? It just seems a little bit unlucky when he's making a mistake, he's getting punished. Others are getting away with it. And that happens sometimes when you're down on your luck.
Okay, if I remember correctly, and don't you said you love me, right? I remember you getting a lot of hate with the likes of like Robbie Savage, David Beckham when he was sent off against Argentina. The fans turned on you, right? I would rather give you extra love and care when you came visiting. Harry Maguire was booed at an international game at Wembley, which is insane, by the way.
Pathetic.
Right?
It's pathetic.
That was nuts when I saw it. I was like, whoa, did he do something before the game? How long more can he take it personally? Because he seems not to have recovered from whatever happened to him in Greece. So how long before somebody steps in and says, listen, he is at his breaking point mentally, which is far more severe as compared to his football career. Once you
to get to the top and to get where he is today, he's unbelievably mentally strong and incredibly resilient. You've had criticism since the age of 14, 15. He would have been at Hull and people would have said, look, he's not good enough. He would have gone to Leicester. He's not good enough. It doesn't deserve to be £80 million. Then he gets England to a World Cup semi-final. He helps get them to a Euro final. He has fantastic performances for England. Gets in the FIFA team of the championship. So he's not a bad player. Yes, he has his faults. He's not a Rio Ferdinand. He's not a Nemanja Vidic. He's not Virgil van Dijk. The price tag he didn't choose. He's just got to get on with it. He's just got to keep working hard. Go back to basics. Don't make mistakes. When you're having a tough time of it, the temptation is to try and play the Hollywood pass or show everybody how good you are. And actually, you have to go the opposite way. Just don't make a mistake. Just give the ball to somebody in front of you. 10-yard pass. Make a challenge. Make a header. Stay in your position. Don't go trying to impress people. Impress people by doing the simple things. Simplicity is genius. I know that's a cliche and an old adage, but that's what you have to do. You have to go back to basics and just do those. And then confidence start to build. He doesn't have to create chances. He doesn't have to score goals. He doesn't have to go past 2 or 3 players. Be a defender. Defend well. Put yourself in the right position. And if you have to kick it in the stand every 10 minutes, kick it in the stand. Your job is to not concede goals. And then you start to go, okay, now we're starting to build a little bit of confidence. And then you can start to maybe play out from the back a little bit more.
Fair enough. I hope you don't mind me asking this. Did it get too bad for you when
no,
the
never.
fans?
No, it made me laugh when Tyrone Mings in the Euro said, he found it really difficult when 90% of the population seemed to think he wasn't good enough to play for England. I think I said at the time, 99% of the population didn't think I was good enough to play for England. You're getting the chance. If Mills can play for England, so could I. You're getting this, you're getting that, and I was always, from an early age, never the best player in the team. You prove people wrong, and that fueled me. It's like, okay, if you don't think I'm good enough, I'll show you. I'll prove you. I'll prove you wrong. I will get to the next step. I will work hard enough. I will do this. Yes, of course, I had flaws and I had faults. I was never going to be, I was never going to be Dani Alves or Cafu or something like that. But I was good at what I did, and I made the most of what I got. And I look back from where I came through as maybe the 6th or 7th best player, technically, in the under 14s, 15s. I went and played Champions League semi-final, played UEFA Cup semi-final, played a World Cup quarter-final. 19 times my country. You have to just keep proving people wrong, because there will always be doubters. There will always be people shouting and screaming at you that you're not good enough. And if you make a mistake, that's one thing they get to jump on top of. So, yeah, you build up that resilience from a young age. And if you haven't got that resilience, you don't get anywhere near the England team.
Okay, I got to ask you a question. I know you're quite close to him, but Gareth Southgate made a comment about Qatar, the representative from Qatar fired back. Is it a mistake from Gareth Southgate to comment on something perhaps when he didn't have the entire picture?
No, because I think, they came back and said, well, it's only things that you've read. But these are reports. These aren't. This is not Karen from Facebook reports, is it? These are government reports. These are people that have been detailed to go over there and look into exactly what is going on. We know there have been issues. I've worked in the Middle East. I'm sure you've been there as well. We all know that there are problems. There are problems all over the world. And we know that, some of the conditions that workers have been in, some of the accidents that have happened, maybe because of health and safety, haven't been quite up to scratch, and there's been a rush to get things done. We've all been there. We've all seen it for ourselves. Gareth has been going to the Middle East since 2000, since, before the World Cup, before the things like the Palm even existed in Dubai and all those types of things. And he's a very, very well-educated man. So I think, and there are other issues as well, where obviously same-sex relationships are illegal. So there's a little bit of both. You have to respect that we can't do anything about Qatar. It's in Qatar. The World Cup is in Qatar. It's happening. They have certain religious values and laws that you have to adhere to. Whether we think that's right or not, most of the world, I don't think, do. But it's in their country. You have to be respectful of that. But equally, you can still highlight the points that actually, come on, you need to move on. You need to become realistic in the modern world. When you look at rights of women, LGBT community, all those types of things. So, yeah, no, I think he was right to highlight it. What happens next, we just have to wait and see.
Okay, let's move on from that. Let's wait and see what happens to Everton, because we were supposed to have the show on Sunday. It wasn't. It's happening today. That's the best part of being, a self-funded show. I don't know what we're funding ourselves with apart from love and, our friendship. But we were looking at...
And coffee.
And coffee with 2 sugars and no honey, correct? So I was just looking at the run into the last few weeks of the Premier League. And this is crazy. At the start of the weekend, Brighton had Arsenal, Tottenham, and Man City next. Newcastle, their last 4 games, get this: Liverpool, City, Arsenal, and Burnley. Leeds, their last 4 games, Man City, Arsenal, Brighton, and Brentford. Okay, Brentford not bad against Chelsea. Burnley have Tottenham and Arsenal, rather Newcastle as their last 2 games. And Everton, they just played West Ham. We know what happened. Another man sent off. They have Burnley coming up, Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, Leicester, Palace, and Brentford. Danny, doesn't look good, does it?
Huge game against Burnley. Have to win that game. It's a must. If you lose that game, you are in deep doo-doo. You have got serious problems. There is no paddle in the boat. You've got to get your hands in the water and start paddling upstream. If not, you're going over the precipice. You're going over the waterfall. So the Burnley game is absolutely huge for Everton. But there are games in there. Arsenal is a winnable game. The sort of patchy form that they're in. Palace, yes, they're in good form. They're up and down a little bit at the moment. They might have obviously got a cup semi-final, possibly a final that they might be looking at that could be distracting. Brentford is still a winnable game within all that. Everton need, 2 or 3 wins. There are still, they've got the games in hand, but you've got to win those games in hand, and you've got to get close to that. So they need to knuckle down. They need to work and fight and show resilience and desire. Forget about performances. It's all about results, and they cannot afford to lose to Burnley.
So, quick one. Yes or no in terms of survival for Everton?
Yes.
Okay, that's very quick. I thought you'd take another 20 seconds, but yes. Thank you, Mr. Danny Mills, all the way
fingers
from
crossed.
Stoke. You're off to watch the match, correct, and comment on who against who? Sheffield versus QPR.
Sheffield Wednesday. Oh goodness me, can't say that. Sheffield United. Don't go to the wrong place, Danny. Sheffield United versus QPR.
All right. Thanks, Danny. Till next week. Take care.